The substitute, you need to just go, small changes one at a time before you go for the really large sweeping changes.
The other side of that coin, though, is if you do go for kind of something off meta or something off the wall, that can set you up for success because your opponent might not know how to deal with that, and especially on a brand new patch. I mean, we have Churnwalker. We have to talk about the fact that Churnwalker could be that off-meta pick.
Churnwalker, and there are also a lot of different picks that I'm hoping to see, such as Saw. Saw Weapon Power is an incredible hero right now in the patch after the buffs he's gotten, and CP also, because CP has a lot of execution damage, health percentage-wise, on his Shank and on his ultimate that capitalize on the changes that have happened in 2.9 with the health and the defense.
All right, we are already well underway with the draft, so I'll catch you guys up. We've got Lyra and a Catherine band coming on through, and then Arden and Lance immediately locked in. Krull, Celeste taken off the board, and then we see Qlash locking in that Kestrel.
Yeah, so Blackfeather is available. That's one of the picks that we've seen banned every game thus far today, but it looks like right now the priority for pretty much every team in Europe has been the Lyra, Catherine, and the Arden and the Lance. Those have pretty much been first rounds all across the board, but I'm still curious to see if we're going to get the Blackfeather, but we are going to get the Baron for G2 as expected. Rhyme is last pick. This is an unbelievably strong composition.
This is the least surprising draft I've seen all day, quite honestly.
I saw that coming a mile away, just because they had already had the Arden, which works incredibly to protect the Baron. And this is an elevator comp. I've talked about it before, but the incredible early game strength of Rhyme allows the Baron to scale to get to his late game stage where he can take over the game. And with G2's roster, it plays incredibly well into their strengths as a team. So I'm very happy for G2's draft. It's very smart, and it plays into the strengths of the patch also, the update.
And you also have to look at what they're going against. They have the Kestrel is shown. Kestrel is always 5-item offense. There's never a Kestrel that builds a whole bunch of defensive items, and so Baron is going to annihilate a Kestrel once you get into the late game. One jump jets and the double rockets is all you're going to need to take a Kestrel out. Scarf, we heard from Kavalapar earlier today in the pre-show where they like the Baron into the Scarf because it says, okay, you're looking to play for the late game. We're so much more confident in our late game that they like the Baron pick there. So I think this is a draft that G2 just won hands down.
I do think that G2 won the draft, even if only slightly, but the Scarf is a pick in the jungle that can work against Rhyme just because Scarf can keep Rhyme at a distance, which is perfect for playing against Rhyme, and also he has a fast clear. However, I do expect Dark Potato to play really aggressive and not even allow Scarf to scale at all.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that conversation, as you mentioned, Bacon, of, Scarf can be a free ticket for Baron to get to the late game, but Scarf isn't half bad in the late game either, and especially with the changes to his ultimate. Now, the Pierce stacks alongside Broken Myth. You can tear through a team. If you have a Dragon's Eye and a Broken Myth and you get a massive Dragon's Breath, that can win you a fight instantly.
He has a 40% piercing on his ultimate level 1.
By
that
default.
Is so strong. Like, you build shield against Scarf because he's a CP carry. You want to counter him in your defense. His Pierce is going to go right through that defense.
All right, we'll see how this one's going to pan out. This should be an exciting matchup. It's time to get on into this one. Hashtag Vainglory8 on Twitter. Let us know who you are supporting. Can G2 make it to the top of the table, or are they going to be upset by Qlash coming in here? It's time to pass it once again to Medic and Scoundrel. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Munch, and I am incredibly intrigued to see how this Baron works in the hands of Hundor. So well known for it, and we'll have to see if he's able to pilot it to great effect. I am Medic, I'm joined by Scoundrel, and we are here to bring you the action in the final series of Day 1 here in EU.
Battle for the Halcyon
Hundor did say, when the update 2.9.1 changes came through, Hundor said, I am going to play Baron. I'm going to play Baron, he tweeted out, and I think, as you can see here, he is true to his promises. Also, like you said, piloting the new skin, so very aptly put there. Medic. However, we do have what appears to be a Scarf coming through. Scarf did receive some pretty beneficial changes in the last update, but he still doesn't feel as strong as he used to, simply because Broken Myth, Scarf was such a good functioning carry with Broken Myth. Now Broken Myth's been changed. Scarf in general doesn't feel quite as impactful as he did previously, but we'll have to see. Devil's known for playing a good Scarf, so we'll see how he works this one out.
Was of course hotfix as well in those balance changes, had his CP ratio increased on that Spitfire. and the Dragon's Breath increase on the Pierce as well. So we'll have to see how that works. There's the Elder Triad going across towards G2. Hell's Devil so low, has to pop the Healing Blast, but the final auto from Hundor is enough, and already the Baron is on the board.
And this is where you saw Baron actually come into the last meta. Sometimes people played him against things like Celeste and Scarf. You have that jump into double basic attack. It hits very, very hard. Now the scaling's back at 130%. It's going to hit even harder. It means that you can go Tension Bow on Baron as well if you want to, just so you have a little bit more early game presence. So I'm interested to see what Hundor build's going to be like. Is it going to be Sora Blade, Tornado Trigger, double Tyrant's Monocle, or are we going to see the Sora Blade, Tension Bow, double Tyrant's Monocle build, or the Tornado Tyrant's Monocle build that we sometimes saw? I'm very much looking forward to it. Against a Kestrel and a Scarf, I would not be surprised to see a Tension Bow Baron build come back onto the Halcyon fold, especially given the changes in the last hotfix update.
Disowned is continuously losing these trades with Keanu Nakoa. Like, Keanu knows exactly how he wants to play it, dodging around. Hell's Devil caught out a little bit, has to pop the boots to try and run away, but the Vanguard onto Dark Potato will continue the chase. Has boots of his own if he can land a good Winter Spire, but can't quite connect onto the tail of the Scarf, and Hell's Devil will be able to escape. For the moment, needs to be cautious as Dark Potato is still sitting around in the jungle, but it looks like G2 will settle with the steals that they have got for the time being and accept that perhaps you have to give a little bit of credit to Qlash as they push forward back into the lane.
Yeah, Agony's being forced back here by Hundor. Actually done well to keep up on farm, but like you said, Hundor on a carry that he is so well practiced with. 1,600 gold in the bank. I imagine Tension Boat. There we go. Don't even need to imagine. It's just been visualized in front of me, and Hundor picks up his first minor item spike. You could say major item spike, I suppose, but it does mean he's going to start wailing damage down onto Agony and Hell's Devil now. Every time that Tension Bow cooldown or the internal cooldown comes off, he's going to be looking to hit that hard.
And it's just such a chunk to take as well, especially when you're not tanky early on in the game. No armor being picked up on Agony or Hell's Devil to keep them a little bit safer. Of course, they need to go towards some aggressive items of their own if they're going to trade effectively. Agony does have a minion's foot, try and get those extra crits off, but needs to be so cautious around Hundor in this lane. And already we see G2 with basically a 1,000 gold lead. Hell's Devil chased out of his own jungle once again. The Impale missing from Disowned, and Qlash showing perhaps why they are standing at the bottom of the table for the time being.
Hundor, a clean sweep with the rest of his team of this Qlash jungle. Now Qlash looking to push up in lane, but maybe caught out just a little bit. Nice skiffy wall. Disowned will just allow his team to escape. He'll take a bit of damage for it. Agony though.
A Porcupine Mortar to the face, and that's a prickly one indeed. Agony down to half HP. Hell's Devil there with the Spitfire from the side. Trying to celebrate a victory here for Qlash with the special celebration skin, but Keanu and Hundor will be able to hold the lane for the moment as Keanu is forced back a little bit further. There, but Agony takes a massive chunk. We'll be able to escape. The Winter Spire comes out, but Agony does survive for the time being, and G2 still unable to get that next cut through the armor of Qlash.
Yeah, forced back a
Keanu
little
is
bit.
playing that so well. Walks straight into an active camo though, takes the stun to the face. He's chasing it with the blood for blood and the Vanguard. Agony trying to get away, and Keanu realizes perhaps he's gone a little bit too far. Hell's Devil with the kill in the end.
Yeah, and Keanu was expecting the Vanguard to get in there. Nice kicking wall from Disowned. Agony escapes on sub almost 20 HP there. Unbelievable escape, but Keanu maybe just a little bit hungry, taking the blood for blood a little bit too literally, and was waiting for it to come up just to try and find that executing blow on the kill. Rest of the team is scaling up quite nicely though. Dark Potato working towards his first item. Likely going to be a Shattered Glass. He's about 50 gold away from that. Hundor nearly at the Sorrow Blade. Only needs about 1,000 more gold for that as well. So in a good space right now for G2. They've got a very good scaling composition. The one thing that they are going to start to lose out on though is that they kind of get outpoked in general. Obviously Hundor's got great range, especially towards the later game. But in the mid game, the range of this Kestrel and this Scarf might actually prove to be an issue for G2. Especially as Keanu is a little bit behind on experience compared to his counterpart.
Yeah, it depends if they can get a full-on engage off, because otherwise you are just going to take Spitfires and Glimmer Shots to the face and you will get poked down. Nice to see the Fountain early on from Keanu, not falling to the trap that is not getting the fountain against these teams, and Qlash with that poke will be able to harass down, so the fountain will be necessary on the Arden as well. Game slowed down a little bit as G2 have been unable to find the exact fights that they want, and it's allowed Qlash just a little bit more time to get a couple of items across the board.
Double here with Agony just clearing these front camps away. G2 just slowly pushing in. They've hit some item spikes, Shattered Glass with the Dark Potato. Hundor's picked up his Sorrow Blade. There's always been a sort of, I guess, a meme about the timing of a Baron, where you say, you know, you need to kill 3 turrets before he gets 3 items, and that's in a good space against the Baron. Now that he's back up to 130%, is that back to being a fairly relevant saying? Because right now, G2 are in a massive driving seat, if that's the case, because they've got 2 items, not even 1 turret has gone down, and Hundor working, you imagine it's going to be his crit item coming up moderately soon as well.
And he's doing a lot of work already. You can see the turret falls down to almost a 3rd HP just from a couple of auto attacks coming out from Hundor. He's so well practiced on this champion that if he can get in the right position, if he can jump forward, he can actually catch out a couple of members of Qlash. Good stun with the Gideon Wall there from Disowned, but Dark Potato comes in from the side once again, and there's the Impale missing. Hundor chucks down a couple of Porcupine Mortars, the engage onto Hell's Devil as Dark Potato is not willing to let his team do all the work for him. Disowned had to pop the fountain there to keep Hell's Devil alive. Once again positions himself between G2 and his backline. Rolls away a good Gideon Wall onto Dark Potato. Here's the jump in from Hundor, and there's the kill on towards Disowned. Qlash now have to retreat a long way away, but the Valkyrie will not let them escape. Another couple of kills go over to G2.
Again, slowly but surely starting to take those advantages. Hundor now on 1600 gold. He's going to be able to get those parts of what is going to be a tornado trigger. And very quickly accelerating. A weapon power KESTREL can keep up, by the way, but he is so far behind in items. He's got 3,000 gold in the bank right now that he hasn't spent. So Agony severely on the back foot. And what Keanu just did there, he's just basically tried to force Agony to stay in lane. Agony will have none of it, however, and will pick up his first Tyrant's Monocle and a Minion's Foot at the same time as well. And actually starting to catch up to Hundor in some way, shape, or form. Hundor had a slightly cheaper build with the Tension Bow in there, but he also has now got 1,400 gold in the bank, Medic, and that means he's going to be close towards that Tornado Trigger, another major item spike for him.
Yeah, Agony's probably half an item to 3/4 of an item behind at the moment, and that's reflected in the global gold as well. You're looking at 2,500 lead for G2. A lot of that will be sitting on Hundor, who has 100 CS only 9 minutes into the game. That's pretty darn effective. We're talking about CS numbers on the analyst desk. Well, Hundor's ticking along at over 10 a minute. Here comes Keanu with the engage. The Gauntlet blocked out the stealth as well with the active camo. Not quite going to get the damage down from the Iron Cannon, and Qlash will be able just to escape down towards the bottom of this fight. Disowned is still doing a very good job of acting as that front line between Agony, Hell's Devil, and the rest of G2. But G2 willing just to take little trades as and when they can.
Again, they can do that because they have the Baron. They just need to land a couple of basic attacks here, a couple of basic attacks there. No need for the skill shots, no need to aim anything when you have a Baron on your side. And there is an infusion and a tornado trigger. They might try and look to capitalize on this aggressive push from Qlash. Keanu does not have his gauntlet though, so the engage potential is limited. They're kind of really relying on Hundor specifically. He jumps in.
Oh, the damage onto Hell's Devil is disgusting. Disowned is going to fall as well, actually managing to survive right at the edge there. Hundor with the chase, 2 autos, double kill, double shots, and the turret falls as well. G2 in dominant fashion, just cleaning up the kills at the end of that fight.
The old Baron is back, baby, and he hits just as hard as he did before. That is the Baron that I think Hundor was looking for. That's the Baron he's likely been having success with, and you know, is this going to start to become changing these fans up? Because the damage he's outputting is just insane. The extended health means that you are a bit tankier, but huge damage output.
Here comes the Dragon's Breath onto Keanu, but it's not going to be enough. It's Hell's Devil. There's a good double impale from Disowned. Hell's Devil off towards the side with Agony. Dark Potato chunked down low, but Hodor chops in. Hundor with another kill. He goes unbeatable. 6-1 in favor of G2, and really you just don't see Qlash able to do anything against Hundor. Another kill off towards the side. G2 are just absolutely wiping the floor with Qlash at the moment.
Yeah, and this is a 3-item Baron. This is not even at his final form. He's still got another item to pick up that's going to make his critical strikes more consistent, and he's still ripping through Hell's Devil and Agony. Baron is only going to get stronger because of the changes to armor. Armor in general has been reduced. Armor for items has been reduced. Base armor has been reduced. So you're going to crit harder, crit higher, and also your splash damage is going to be more effective as well. You know, Baron is back in a big way, ladies and gents, and you're seeing it right here firsthand. Hundor absolutely crushing people. I mean, it's difficult to say anything more than that front line of Dark Potato and Keanu is just facilitating these critical strikes from Hundor, facilitating this late game Baron.
All it takes is one shot, really. Jump jet in from Hundor into 1 or 2 auto attacks, and Hell's Devil or Agony have to leave the fight because they're just chunked out. Dark Potato takes a 1-shot, 1-kill to the back, but more of a tickle than anything else. There is the Tyrant's Monocle onto Hundor, and even on Disowned, who has a metal jacket, those crits are starting to hurt.
Yeah, Metal Jacket often did very little against the Baron, and with the fact that base armor in general has been reduced, although Lance did have his increased at level 12 on the last update, going all the way up to 70.
He's still 4 levels away from that, so it's a long time until Qlash gets there.
Exactly, he's still got quite a way to go. And often one of the ways that you talked about a Baron in the previous updates is that Metal Jacket didn't make that much of a difference because simply put, he hits hard anyway, just 130% scaling. Yes, it's nice to have armor, but it's not going to save you because Baron can consistently pump these out with every basic attack. It's not like you're defending against glimmer shots from a weapon power KESTREL where, you know, you block 2 or 3 of them and then you can get to wait a minute and refresh. That's not kind of how it works against Baron. He just slams basic attacks into you over and over and over. So, you know, often people say, well, the best way to deal with a Baron is deal with him directly in terms of damage output, diving, all that kind of thing. But no way to do that here for Qlash. They're just playing the range game against, you know, a level 12 Baron who has the second longest basic attack range in the game, and longest if you don't count the Petal extended basic attack range from her trampoline. So he can shoot his rockets quite a distance.
Zoned on the run here from G2 will take a crit to the face and a crit to the back as well. Another kill going over to Hundor, 6-0 now on that Baron. This will be the second Crystal Sentry death. Only 1 life remaining, and only 1 life you have to think as well for Qlash. One more mistake will spell their doom because they only have these couple of turrets remaining before the base will be opened up, and G2 with that extended range can just stand a mile away. Hell's Devil takes a shot that Agony pays the price for, and Hundor chunked out a little bit but won't be too worried about being a little bit low as he jumps forward with the jump jets, gets those helicopter blades whirring, looks to see if he can catch out Qlash once again.
Gonna get
he three
shots
that. That's crazy. He 3-shots a healer Trient at this point.
He 1-shots the... He's going for a 5-item Baron build. This is even more ridiculous than it was, but I suppose he doesn't really have to worry about anything if everything's getting body blocked for him. Agony's starting to do some damage. There's the gauntlet.
Blocked out by Hell's Devil, but he takes a crit to the back, and the huge burst coming out from Hundor forces him away. The Iron Cannon's going to land as well. Disowned just able to get out of the side. G2 do have to reset slightly here. They do still have the fountain. Disowned's going to tumble across the wall and meet the bases of G2. Disowned's still alive, though. G2 can just turn across towards the gold mine. 1-shot, 1-kill does not connect. G2 will be able to secure their second gold mine of the game and keep that gold lead ticking over. 6,000 in the lead. It's going to spread to about 7,000 after the gold mine is secure.
Yeah, and they had about 10 seconds to spare before the Kraken ended up spawning. Hundor working towards what I imagine is going to be a third Tyrant's Monocle. Oh, sorry, second Tyrant's Monocle, but third critical strike item. So, I mean, he has got absolutely no qualms about where he wants his build to go. It's 5 weapon power items. Again, untouched in the back line. Very difficult to get through Keanu and Dark Potato, so Hundor feels very safe even without a reflex block. It says a lot about the state of Baron right now that he thinks he can afford to do that. Going to refresh his infusion. Going to head towards the Kraken, you feel. It's going to be the showdown as Dark Potato gets alerted to Qlash's presence.
Hundor is sitting at 75% crit chance at the moment, which means 1 in 4 shots won't crit. I'm sure he's pretty happy with that for the time being. When he finishes that next Tyrant's Monocle, if that is where he's going to go, that will be 1 in 20 shots won't crit. So that's a pretty devastating Baron for all states of affairs. Now, Dark Potato trying to land some Winter Spires, but we do see that poke from Hell's Devil and Agony doing a little bit of work, especially to Keanu, who still has the fountain, but Hundor gets a double crit off, goes low down to about 200 HP.
Oh,
Takes a
no.
one shot, almost gets taken out. Here's the Dragon's Breath. Keanu jumps in with the gauntlet. That's hell in a cell as the Dragon's Breath continues just to pound down. A great Valkyrie, though, as we see Dark Potato step up for the first time in the game, but he just can't do enough. It's a double kill for Qlash, and they're able to come out on top.
Oh, they caught out Hundor, and now the piercing, with the piercing shard coming up from Hell's Devil, the max level Dragon's Breath that had a massive pierce increase on the last update, shredded through Keanu Nakoa. And also Agony working towards his 4th CP item. He's going a major critical strike build as well. Keanu just didn't survive long enough on the front line. Neither did Dark Potato, and because Hundo got battered away so early, he didn't feel comfortable enough trying to get to that front line and deal the damage. He was kind of very tentative on the outskirts of that fight. And now, shredding through that Kraken as a weapon power Kestrel and a Scarf will, they are starting to land those basic attacks onto Hundor and feel more aggressive about their maneuvers. It's looking good for Qlash.
It's the risk when you go for a full weapon power build. When you want all of this crit, you do sacrifice defenses. You sacrifice the reflex box. You sacrifice any armor or shielding that you could have. And Agony and Hell's Devil are utilizing that to great effect. Disowned continues just to get in the faces of G2, gets those impales off, gets those Githyan walls off. And now with the Kraken, they're pushing for the second turret. This will be another turret falling. Only 2 turrets now remain between Qlash and a win against G2, who are still ahead by 4,000 gold.
Definitely the risk that you take, Aaron, and honestly, it's all positional now for Hundor. If he's not positioning in exactly the correct areas, you know, he's going to get punished for it. If you jump forward and you're not absolutely certain you're going to force Qlash onto the back foot, they will punish you with those Spitfires, they'll punish you with the Glimmer shots. Even at just a 2.5 item, nearly 3 item build Scarf, he's starting to hit Hundor really hard because he has not thought about an Aegis, he has not thought about a reflex block. And actually, this could be the undoing. Keanu isn't surviving long enough on the front line. Dark Potato isn't able to get there either. He's now picked up a metal jacket of his own. Keanu can't afford a metal jacket, so he's not able to tank up these Glimmer shots very easily from Agony either. G2, I was singing their praises for this entire game, but it looks like Qlash have found a way to undo this spell.
Gonna engage with the gauntlet once again. Disowned with a good Githyan wall, but the damage onto Agony is huge. He's forced back. Every shot a crit now for Hundor, sitting at 105% crit chance. Pretty happy with that, but still unable to break through this turret. Hundor actually takes a shot from the turret as well. 1 shot, 1 kill. Blocked up by Keanu. Have a quick look at how Dark Potato's doing as well. He's got the Eve, he's got the Shatterglass, Metal Jacket, now building up towards an Aegis. Just trying to keep himself that a little bit tankier on the front line. Hell's Devil.
Oh, what a gauntlet!
And Hundor gets in there. 1,000 damage off the crit. It's a big kill for G2 as they look to try and close out this game. The chase onto Disowned as well. He tries to tumble away, but the Valkyrie will lock him up. The Winter Spire, not enough. Here's Hundor though, and he will get it. Double kill for him. Agony tries to turn it around. He gets the kill. And that is a big carry down for G2. Can they push in against Agony? It's a 2v1 situation, but Agony will be pretty happy that he's taken down Hundor.
Yeah, and again, you have to be so careful. Even just the basic attacks, the 100% critical strike basic attacks from Agony now are going to just rip through Hundor because, again, like we said previously, no defensive items. Hundor took the very aggressive move to take out Disowned, but Agony managed to slip back in and just destroy Hundor with just a single basic attack to finish off his life. Keanu's gone Atlas Pauldron. I fail to see a situation where, unless you're getting a good gauntlet off, you're going to get an effective Atlas Pauldron opportunity. But if you can land it onto Agony, also does all right against Hell's Devil because he relies on basic attacks to use Fan the Flames, his heroic perk. So if you can even just land it onto either of them, you might be able to slow some damage output, which is not a bad situation to be in. Dark Potato, by the way, only 2 damage items, a bit like Palmotoro in the first game of the day. He just feels a little bit lackluster in his damage output. You feel like you need the Broken Myth at this point to be able to sort of contend in terms of damage output at this stage of the game.
Instead goes for the Journey Boots and an Elixir. Hundor has War Treads for his own, makes himself, I guess, a tiny bit tankier with the health you get from them, and of course helps you run towards your opponents a little bit quicker. Qlash trying to play around this Kraken, but they do need to be cautious because if Hundor gets in range of a turret, he will take that down in just 2 or 3 shots. Good Winter Spires. Qlash realizes that's what G2 want to do. They're pushing in towards the base, and now We will see these minion waves just cleared away. Hundo almost in range of that choke point turret, but Hell's Devil has a bit of a flank off here, as has Disowned. Agony coming in. They're looking for Dark Potato to start it off. Hundo standing off towards the back of the fight. There goes in Keanu with the double gauntlet. Hell's Devil takes a crit to the face, but he's going to survive off towards the side. Agony, the new target, tries to reflex bomb, but can't get away, and Qlash are falling to the wayside. Hundo, another quick
no!
Hell's Devil, he just about survives. Puts down the Goop to slow the path of G2, and Disowned will get caught out by Dark Potato and Hundo. Dark Potato should be able to chase this one down. Meanwhile, Hell's Devil is channeling Dragon's Breath here, trying to chase Keanu out himself. Not quite going to be able to do it, as Keanu's dodging around as much as possible. Still, Disowned is alive. The turret has fallen to Hundo. Disowned actually might get his back off here. Dark Potato looking for the chase. The Winter Spire not going to be used, and they will instead just go for Hell's Devil. It is going to be Agony back alive in 10 seconds after Hell's Devil's died, and Hundo's going to start up the Kraken.
G2, I think that they were forced into a situation where the poke was coming out from, at this point, the later stage of the game, the poke was starting to come out from Team Qlash, and Keanu Nakoa is in this, oh, he gets the steal! I can't believe it! How did they not block that medic? How did they let that thread through? What a steal from Agony!
It's Agony for G2 and Ecstasy for Qlash, as they are able to steal away the Kraken. A great impale there onto Keanu and Hundo as well, but now you do still have to wait for Hell's Devil. He's still 20 seconds away. This Kraken is probably going to fall before it even gets towards those crystal turrets. Agony is actually going to chase in, looking for Keanu, but I think Qlash just have to accept that they've stalled out the game a little bit and perhaps look for the next fight. If they overextend here, they do give a lot across to G2. Looking for Keanu, a good block will keep him alive, and the Kraken eventually will fall.
Yeah, they won't even get a single turret, so actually gifted some gold over, but what? I mean, Dark Potato is the only one that can really buy anything at this point. I would be looking at him and recommending him go towards what is likely either going to be a Dragon's Eye or a Broken Myth. He's going to pick up a Heavy Prism that's going to allow him to function a bit better. Not really facing up a huge amounts of shielding, only on Agony there. Hell's Devil hasn't really got any himself, so maybe just feels the flat CP is just better for him at this point in time. But goodness me, this has been a wild, wild game. I want to get off Mr. G2's wild ride because they aren't able to find that closing finish just yet, and Agony keeps them in the game. Qlash holding on. They're going to try the same tactic. It worked before. I don't know if Qlash are going to let them get that same position, though.
Don't get the Githian wall off, but even he takes chunks when Hundo autos him. He's gone Metal Jacket into Coated Plate, so he is pretty armor heavy here. Not really worrying too much about Dark Potato. Agony getting some damage off onto that Rhyme in the front line. Good Winter Spire, but a great Githian wall knocks Hundo back once again. Keanu wants the engage. There's the Gauntlet. Locked out with a stun, but the second comes out with the Echo. Agony chased down towards the bottom side, and Keanu perhaps realizing he's not in the best of spots here. A crit to the face of Hundo. The Dragon's Breath is cancelled.
Oh, for goodness me!
But a great Githian wall, and now Dark Potato's chasing in. Stunned up by the active camo. Second active camo from Agony. He tries to turn onto Hundo. He can't quite get the kill, but Hundo eventually dies. And it's a 1v1. Disowned and Dark Potato realize they can't really kill the other, and both back away.
Oh, the attack speed of Agony almost outdoing Hundo, who has a very slow base attack speed on this Baron, but in the end it's up to Disowned, who's, like you said, stacking up. He's actually eating these Baron base attacks quite nicely now, and actually it's having pretty significant impact, because if you can't get past him, Agony and Hell's Devil are feeling pretty easy on the outside. But I tell you what, this game absolutely crazy. I like the proactive moves that Qlash were making in that fight. They didn't let G2 loop round towards their base and get the positional advantage over them. I don't know what happened to Keanu Nakoa's first Gauntlet. I thought the Disowned might have been too far away to Githian wall it, but something definitely happened because he was forced to Echo and use it again.
I was wondering if he got active camo stunned. I think he might have got active camo stunned.
Yeah, I think that might have been the case. It was either active camo stunned or he just messed it up on the terrain. But usually if you mess it up on the terrain, it just ends up spawning on top of you. Yeah. So I think it might have been an active camo stun. So really nice because the double, I mean, it got crucibled anyway, so let's not beat around the bush like it was going to be a super impactful gauntlet. The crucible came down for it anyway. The second one definitely felt a bit rushed though, Medic. You felt like Keanu was like, oh crap, I've just missed my gauntlet. He hit the Echo and went for it straight away. They didn't really have any impact with the second gauntlet, so I think just getting that stun off put Keanu in a situation where he's like, I've got to get a gauntlet out, and didn't really think about the placement of it.
And we have to remember, G2 are fighting for a world spot here. You know, SK are still in that top spot, 24 points, but G2 are in second. And if they can get these wins and get, you know, weak wins and win out 3 or 4 weeks of the split, they can really challenge SK for that position in Worlds for the European region. So they need to be winning games like this. A loss here is basically a death knell for them if SK keep playing as well as they have done. Hell's Devil caught out with the gauntlet. The double comes out. Disowned is the only target in the midst of it, though. Agony trying to get some health back from the Treant does manage to pick it up, and now we'll see Agony turn back with a one-shot, one kill onto Dark Potato. Disowned. Stun into the wall. Keanu there. G2, you can sense the tension. You can sense that Hundo is just looking for the opening, prying, seeing perhaps if he can find a small gap in the armor of Qlash. But up until now, they have been steadfast. They have been steady. They have been unbreakable. No hammer can take them down. No Hundo can collapse into them. And now Disowned re-engages. But once again, we just see back and forth between these two teams. Neither team giving an inch. Hundo there with the crit onto Hell's Devil. The second comes out, the Gideon wall. Here's the Dragon's Breath. Agony is
there we go.
Dead. That's the kill that they wanted, and Hundo is able to dodge around the side. Hell's Devil dead as well. And now it's all on Disowned, but you have to think that G2 can close out from this spot 3v1 with a Kraken on their backs.
Yeah, the War Tread's proving huge for Hundo as well. Double War Treads, meaning they're able to get that mobility necessary to chase down those targets where possible. I thought there was almost disaster because G clubbed up and Scarf was looking for a really big impact goop, but again, Keanu slots in, isolates Agony, and Hundo this time, as soon as she slips out of active camo, had her number with that basic attack. It was all up to Hell's Devil with a big channel of the ultimate, but it was not enough to sustain himself through a 5-item Baron. This has not been as dominant as I felt it was going to be from the get-go, but G2 are looking to end this one now without the help of Kraken. Baron chunking through Medic. I think we have an end of the game.
Well, Hell's Devil and Agony are going to be up here, so they do have the Kraken to try and push in for that final turret, but Hell's Devil, they're just going to go straight for the fight, straight onto Hundo if they can get there. Dragon's Breath comes out, but Hundo just dodges off towards the side. There's the Iron Cannon, there's the double kill, looking for the triple as well. Hundo jumps forward, knocked back, but it's a triple and an ace for G2, and they will close out the game against Qlash. It took them a lot longer than it should have done, but eventually they take down the Crystal and take a 1-0 lead in this series.
It was a good move, you feel, from Qlash. They basically barreled in, ignored Dark Potato for the most part, and then went in on Hundo looking to burst him out. But Dark Potato, picking up a broken myth, made him a very viable late-game threat. Hundo's damage was unbelievable that game. Qlash certainly put a couple of roadblocks up, but the plow of G2 drove through them all, and they're going to take this series 1-0 so far, Medic.
And they are. We're going to hand it back across towards our analyst to break down that game, and what a game it was.
It certainly was an exceptional game coming on through there. G2 with control for the majority of the game, but it was not a simple victory for them. Qlash definitely, as you put it, Ex-Scoundrel, they put up a couple of roadblocks in the way, so there was definitely some fighting to be had, but G2 definitely, it felt like they were ahead for the majority. It never felt like Qlash were on the cusp of winning this game.
No, not really. I mean, the draft also coming from G2 with the Baron and the Rhyme. It's an extremely strong draft, especially if you're going up against a double carry. Usually the way you want to deal with the Baron is to have a dive comp. Double carries with Scarf and Kestrel, you can't dive on the Baron. The best you can do is poke and try to hopefully get on top of him during the team fight, and that just doesn't work very well against Baron.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at our first replay. Early on in the game, around 7 minutes in, we saw G2 start things off strong with a double kill.
Yeah, they were able to just jump on in, and you can already see the damage of this Baron start to come through. Again, Tension Bow got buffed to keep up with the health increases across the board, but Hundo on Baron, this is something we've talked about so many times. I mean, he had 8 kills, I believe, before he received his first death in this one, and that was very late in the game that he finally was able to be taken down. Able to play so safe.
Yeah.
And yet dish out so much damage.
And we saw his first death as well was when he actually jumped basically underneath the turret just to finish off another kill. Let's take a look at our next replay, I believe, around 16 minutes into the game. This is what led to a Kraken.
Yeah, this one led to Kraken. It was after 2 kills coming from Qlash, able to take it on top of G2, and it was, you could see there the effectiveness of the piercing, the base piercing on Scarf's ultimate. When he used his ultimate, Arden didn't have a chance to live whatsoever. He just died immediately, and that's because of that base pierce. He didn't even use his Echo, didn't even use his Crucible. Keanu died without those items. They were able to get the Kraken and they pushed with it. They didn't get too much later on.
Yeah.
But something to mention now, Kraken is actually easier to capture and harder to kill once captured. So that's why you see these teams, when they get a Kraken, they're able to gain quite a bit from it.
Yeah, and we saw them grab all but one turret off the back of that, or at least make a significant push into the opponent's base. And then this next fight, very interesting one, because this was where G2 actually wavered a little bit. This was where a fight went 2-2.
Yeah, and this was just because they're split so heavily. Keanu was almost dead before the rest of his team was even able to engage. They can't get onto Agony, who's just dishing out a ton of damage from the backlines. Finally, Hundor jumps over, but again, he gets almost traded out here because excellent play from Agony to go into that active camo. The moment that Hundor jumps over the wall, you now can't attack him, and you have the opportunity to then make the first shot. As the Kestrel, it allowed his teammate to finish off the kill and prevent them from getting the ace.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier that double carry compositions don't work well against Baron. The reason why that is because as a double carry, you have a very squishy composition. And Baron does a ton of damage once he gets on top of you and hits you with his basic attacks. So their best thing was to poke, but G2 were doing a very great job of engaging very decisively and immediately with the gauntlets and allowing Baron to use his jump jets forward to try and burst down a carry.
I mean, you mentioned how much damage he was doing. We saw moments in the game where when Tension Bow was available and he had 5 items, he was hitting for 1,000 damage on that first auto attack. That is an insane number coming on out. We have one last replay of the end of that game, how things finished out here for G2 when they already had 16 kills in the back.
Yeah, and they have Kraken pushing in, so they back away from these turrets a little bit as the respawns come through. But again, just look at the damage when they do finally engage. Hundor is in a really difficult spot. The goop never got ignited while he was standing on it, so he was able to avoid a lot of the damage there. Jumps on forward, picks up the triple kill to finish off the 14-2. Is an insane scoreline given the way that these games, and this game in particular, was going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hundor played exceptionally in that game, but I want to talk a little bit about Qlash coming into game number 2 of this series. What do they need to change coming in? Because it didn't feel like they just rolled over and died, right? They gave it a fight, but how do they go from that into a victory here?
In my opinion, the draft is your biggest weakness right now because you both gave them Baron and you gave them Rhyme, and you didn't have a great composition against it. We saw it during the last replay. They tried to dive on Baron, and that's the right idea, but with a Scarf and a Kestrel, you can't do that very effectively because you don't have the dive potential. So if you're going to give Baron away, perhaps pick up something like Black Feather, something that can dive very well and kill the Baron.
Alternatively, don't give Baron to Hundor. That's another great way to go about this, but they are going to be banning away the Lyra, and Arden going to get answered then, so we're going to get the Catherine and the Krull. So again, heavy priority on these 4 heroes. We would expect to see Lance come through in this next rotation of bans because he's also been heavily prioritized, but I really want to see Qlash take this Baron off the board and let them have the Lance.
I would love to see that. We've got the classic Batiste ban coming through. Obviously, when you're against that Catherine, got to take that one off the board. It's a classic pickup right there. And now we'll see whether Qlash are going to ban away the Baron or whether they're going to allow that to go through into the hands of G2. Obviously, that would make it double weapon power, but with how Hundor played the Baron last game, I would not be afraid of running double weapon power.
Yeah, especially because double weapon power is pretty strong right now because of how effective you can be with a Pierce. Put a Bone Saw on the Krull. All of a sudden, you're taking away armor from a target, and Baron jumps in. Those 700 damage shots that Hundor was doing are now going to become 800 or 900 damage shots. So it's not something that they have to shy away from, but they're going to put priority on the Lance instead. This makes sense for G2 because, again, it is a heavy comfort pick for both Keanu and Dark Potato. They can both play it, they can flex it, and now maybe they're just challenging Qlash and saying, hey, do you play Baron? Because if they don't, all of a sudden we could have Krull, Lance, and Baron and comfort picks across the board.
G2's draft has been very smart so far, especially with that last pick, because it doesn't show the Baron yet. Had Qlash not picked it up, they probably would have picked it last after they had forced Qlash to do something different. Last draft, Baron was picked after Kestrel was seen. So G2 are only picking Baron when they're guaranteed to go up against a composition that doesn't have any dive. They're doing it very smartly here. And now that Baron has been picked up on Qlash's side, I'm expecting G2 to pick up a laner that can dive very well and play with the Krull and just try to go in very effectively. The Petal pick is going to make it very hard to do that though.
So in 2.8 and previous updates, Petal was the hard counter to Krull. that is no longer the case. Frostburn does not work on her minions anymore. You can't just sit there and constantly slow the Krull down. So I don't really like the pedal pick here as a CP carry. Celeste is the option that G2 goes for. We know Hundor is also great on the Celeste. It's going to be a difficult match, though, because Celeste and Baron, I think the edge still goes to Baron because he is a little bit stronger, a little bit earlier. But it's going to be really interesting to see how this jungle matchup happens.
I do disagree a little bit there. I think Celeste becomes stronger earlier once she hits level 8, while Baron has to wait for his level 12. At the same time, Celeste is a great pick. Also, into battle, G2's draft is a lot stronger here, especially since they have the Krull that can play aggressive and can dive later on, like I've been saying. They just have to utilize the fact that once Celeste becomes level 8, siege turrets get the turrets and push it. Baron by no means is broken. He just works well against certain compositions, and I think G2 actually has a good composition against Baron.
All right, we'll see if that's going to be enough for them to turn this into a 2-0. Obviously, also got that kind of triple CC going on for G2 as well. We'll see whether that's going to work for them. Let's talk a little bit about this Celeste pick. We've seen it once so far on 2.9. We saw one build coming out. Are we expecting that to be the standard build, or could this go in multiple directions?
There's definitely multiple directions you can go. You build towards your play style. And so if you want to just have a ton of damage, you go for that Shadow Glash, you go for the Dragon's Eye, you go for the Broken Myth. If you want to be a little bit more utility focused, you could potentially go for the Spellfire, although I don't really see that being a pick in this game, not on Hundor's hands.
Yeah, no, not really. Clockwork is a very important item, and Dragon's Eye, if mages don't pick that up, they're not going to be very effective in long-lasting teamfights.
All right, we'll see whether they do go for the Dragon's Eye coming on into this one. It's time to jump into the game, though. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know whether you want Qlash to even up the series or if you think G2 are going to 2-0. It's time to pass it once again back to my English compadres in Medic and Ex-Scoundrel.
Thank you very much, Munch. We are going to get into what could be the final game of the EU day, and it's Qlash taking the Baron off Hundor, and that's always an exciting prospect, a vital thing to do if you want to beat G2. We've seen how strong Hundor can be on that hero. We'll have to see if Hell's Devil can match up against him, Ex-Scoundrel.
Yeah, again, they're kind of using the G2's card against them. I reflect what Iraqi said. You know, Hundor by no means is overpowered, but into a double squishy composition like that, you actually saw how little damage he was doing against Lance for the most part. But against, you know, two carries that are unlikely to build huge amounts of armor, they don't have a huge amount of health built into their kit either, he is very, very strong. I think this time round, you know, G2 have got more of an aggressive composition to play into the Baron specifically. You're going to have Keanu Nakoa on the Captain Krull. So Dark Potato playing his Weapon Power Lance and Keanu Nakoa playing the Captain Krull here. So all about just trying to get that stun off, trying to look for those engages, but have to be careful as G2 are on the back foot already here.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Keanu actually started up the Treant for himself, and we're going to see the first blood go across. Hundor has died, Agony getting the kill there, and now they're chased onto Dark Potato as well. Agony will get it double early on this petal. Perhaps I cursed it by saying this might be the last game of the day, because Qlash have come out to party here against G2.
And they're going to just basically commit their entire unit to taking these back camps here away from G2. Very interesting that G2 have tried to go for that. I understand Dark Potato loves his Weapon Power Lance. It's one of his specialities. But, you know, Keanu now is in a strange situation where he's not going to really be doing much until level 6. He's not really going to have a massive impact until later in the game. I guess his prime directive is literally sit on Baron, apply weakness stacks to him, and then just try and allow Hundor to do the rest of the magic. But I think it's a very, very difficult game plan to execute on. And oh, whoa, as I say that,
yeah, it worked out. Dark Potato there as well. They got the core collapse down and they were able to get the stun. That's exactly what G2 wanted. Keanu, yeah, the whole starting off of this game was very odd because Keanu started the Elder Treant by himself. Disowned actually has stepped way too far forward here as well, and Hundor and Keanu will be able to chase him down with the Spectral Smite, and straight away G2 are back in this game. They've equalized the scoreline and they've got themselves some gold in their pockets as well.
Dark Potato is going to finish off this Treant and get his back camp rolling, working towards a tension blow. And Keanu, now that he's level 2, has got a bit more to his kit, can do a little bit more with those weakness stacks. Something that's fun about Krull is that it doesn't necessarily need weapon power to be good. A lot of Krull's damage comes from the ability to build those stacks up and get a massive smite, which just comes from strictly the base damage that it provides. So Krull in the mid game can thrive off his base damages. This kind of adds Keanu as a separate threat. Oh, the steal! Dark Potato gets the steal!
That was so good. We've seen 2 steals. Qlash was able to take it away earlier on. Keanu is actually going to get straight onto Agony. He's already trampoline forward here. Uses the healing flask, and Keanu looking for that Spectral Smite. Can't quite get enough damage. And now here's Hell's Devil to join the party. Keanu locked up, and Agony will be looking to secure this kill. Although Keanu is on the run, Agony jumps forward once again. Ends up being a kill-for-kill trade as Hundor joins the fray. Hell's Devil tried to jump away, but caught up with the core collapse. Dark Potato off towards the side as Hundor keeps the chase going. The Helios comes out. It's a double for him. Disowned will be able to escape, and it ends up not quite being that triple for Hundor, but he is in a very good spot now on this Celeste.
Yeah, he actually, when Baron fell out of favor, Hundor obviously sort of started to expand that hero pool that he had, and obviously he played a great Vox during the Baronet meta when it was getting banned all the time. When the CP Mage lane meta, during update 2.7, 2.8, Hundor has an incredible Celeste. You're seeing it already start to show its face here. Tension bow gets picked up. They get another kill. Suddenly G2 steady the ship here, Medic, and already looking explosive.
They kind of accelerated the ship away as Agony jumps in once again. There we are, 6 kills to 3. Keanu Nakoa now 2-1-3 on this Qlash. He'll be very happy with that. Getting up towards that level 6 as quickly as possible, although still only level 3. Core Collapse lands onto Hell's Devil. The Githium roll into another kill. What is this? It's like Blitz or something. G2 just unrelenting with their pressure.
Hundor, by the way, Celeste confirmed Siren because he just baited and outsmarted the Petal there, drew him in, used the healing flask, and then obviously just destroyed him after. But it's a symphony to watch this coordination between Dark Potato and Hundor. The Githian walls, the impales, the sort of setups of these supernovas. It is an absolute orchestra of Vainglory. And you can see that G2 are well in the conductor's spot. They are very much back firmly in the lead here.
Both teams mirroring each other's items as well, though. You've got the Tension Bow finished on Hell's Devil. Dark Potato has a Tension Bow of its own. Agony has a Shatter Glass. Hundor has a Shatter Glass. However, G2 are slightly ahead in terms of their next item as well. Already completing energy batteries and such on the side of G2. They're going to chase Qlash back once again. Not quite able to get the connection with the kill, but 2 level 6 carries does give them the opportunity to go for a more aggressive play. Keanu snuck into this top bush. Disown finds him, but Dark Potato is there to try and chase onto the Catherine. Githian wall stun. Core Collapse dodged out. Disown tries to use the health blast, but can't get enough healing from it, and Agony jumps in a little bit too late, trampolining on the corpse of his teammate, trying to join that fight.
And again, Hundor going straight for Shatterglass. And do you know what I like about Shatterglass over Dragon's Eye? Whoa, okay, goodbye. Hell's Devil kisses the dirt as he again falls to the floor, and again Agony on the back foot. You know what I like about Shatterglass over Dragon's Eye is that, you get the immediate impact from Shatterglass. You get 70 CP over Dragon's Eye, and you get an immediate impact with the first supernova that you hit. And often, especially against these squishier targets, Medic, the first supernova that you hit is likely going to be one of the more impactful ones. So, I much prefer going Shatterglass over Dragon's Eye on Celeste specifically, because you're just looking for the straight-up burst damage. The straight burst damage from range with that first supernova.
And the first turret to fall. 6 minutes into this game already, a 2,500 gold lead. And people say EU is slow. Well, we've got 12 kills, only 6 minutes in. That's 2 kills a minute, guys. It's much more value for your money than usual in Europe. And now we'll see G2 group up once again towards the lane. And let's see if they can catch out Disowned or Hell's Devil. A good chunk from Dark Potato with that Tension Bow. Hundor building up towards what appears to be a Clockwork second item as well on this Celeste.
That's a funny looking Clockwork, mate.
Oh, so it is. It's been a while, okay? It's been a while.
Do you know, I can forgive you this transgression, my friend. I can forgive you. But
I think analysts and play-by-play casters, right? Because I do the shouty stuff, and you do the item builds. So Eve of Harvest, Excalibur. Talk to me about Eve on Celeste.
Pretty staple for Celeste these days. Often provides with a little of energy regen. Oh, goodbye.
Now, Iron Cannon is going to come down, and Dark Potato will take a chunk of damage. So will Hundor. They do manage to get 1 kill, of course, onto Agony. Keanu gets that one for himself. Actually has the most kills on his team alongside Hundor at 4-1-4. Dark Potato is going to chase onto Disown. Keanu's still not level 6, doesn't have the From Hell's Heart, but that's not stopping him securing these kills. Dark Potato jumps in towards Hell's Devil, who jumps away. The stun lands. So did the Porcupine Mortars. Dark Potato with the Impale will land, and they're just getting more chunks down on towards this turret, down to under half HP As G2's pressure continues forward, here comes the Solar Storm. Hell's Devil blocks it out. Disown coming in from the side, a kill for Agony as Qlash try and answer back with damage of their own. Agony chasing onto Hundo, Keanu there, but the Helios are landing one by one. And there was the fountain use as well at the end by Disown.
Oh, Hundo almost caught out there. Keanu uses that block. He actually moves back as well. Still not level 6. Very close to level 6 as Agony jumps over the wall there. Have to be careful because Keanu will have From Hell's Heart in a matter of, well, you feel like it's going to be moments. It could actually be about a minute, depending on how much experience he gets here as Dark Potato makes his way back.
G2 are okay just defending under this turret. Basically no chip damage even on that turret yet, so
yeah,
they are in such a strong position. 2,000 gold ahead. Dark Potato even rolls straight into the face of Agony and Disowned. Very comfortable continuing to pressure. And now, Xscoundrel, we see a chronograph on Hundo.
Oh,
the possibility. I'm just a prophet, mate. That's what I've realized, right? I'm actually I'm next level in prediction. People just don't realize that time is a construct, you know? You can't, it's all a circle and eventually your predictions will become true. So that's how it works.
So what you're saying is that you just temporarily got a flash of the screen that was about 2 minutes into the future.
Exactly.
Yeah, do you know what, Medic? I won't even contest that because it's so implausible. It's likely to be true.
That is G2 starting up the gold miner here. Keanu is 6 now. Has the From Hell's Heart. Has that ultimate available. Disowned. Gonna get the stun down, but with the gold miner not yet below half, we'll have to see if Qlash actually want to fight this one. They are only 1,000 gold behind. Hell's Devil has a tension bow and a Sorrow Blade. If he can get a crit or some damage down onto Hundo, he can definitely catch him out. And if they jump straight in, the Iron Cannon's going to come down as well. But look at the damage. The Githian Wall knocks them back. There's the Solar Storm onto Disowned as well as Dark Potato looks to try and close out these kills. G2 on a rampage on the warpath, and Dark Potato rolls straight towards his next kill. The gold miner will go down as well as Agony tries to jump off towards the side. Helio after Helio, an ace for G2, 10 minutes in, 13 kills to 4. And that is exactly what the Doctor ordered for G2.
I don't know if you've noticed, Medic, but the Achilles heel to this entire composition from Qlash is this Celeste. Post level 8, you outrate. Oh, goodbye, Hell's Devil, you are just dead. Another beautiful 1-2 combination from G2. But Hundo, classically, CP Petal has always been beaten by Celeste and Scarf because you have the range advantage. Petal is very squishy. You can burst her. You can chunk through those Munions very quickly as well, which are the main source of her damage. And against Baron, post level 8, you have a range advantage over him as well. So if you can spam those Heliogenesis from range, especially now that you're going to be picking up the clockwork for Hundo, you kind of almost shoot this Qlash composition right in that Achilles heel because they can't really do anything to contest that. They don't really have an incredible engage. They've got the Catherine Merciless Pursuit, but it's so telegraphed, it's very hard to actually make an engage happen. So it's just a difficult position for Qlash to be in because right now, if Hundo's playing well, he single-handedly deconstructs this composition from Qlash.
And Hundo is playing well. We saw his Baron in game 1, and now his Celeste is doing a superb amount of work. 4, 1, and 10 being involved in every single kill for G2. Agony does have a Dragon's Eye now, so that Petal damage will start to accelerate. The longer the fight goes on, the more stacks you get up on that. 20 CP per stack, remember, so that's exactly what Agony will be trying to build. Speaking of stacks, Disowned has 23 of his own on that heroic perk on the Catherine. It's pretty good going for the time being, but that is not good going at all for Qlash. The stun lands after the Solar Storm has absolutely decimated his team. It's a double for Hundo, and just when I doubted them, G2 come up big once again.
G2 are going to be taking the gold miner here. They're very close to finishing the game as my puppy runs into the room and bites my hand. Hello, Casper. I love you. I just felt a nibbling at the bottom of my hand, just hanging off the chair, and my not even 8-week-old puppy, he's 8 weeks tomorrow, just came and nibbled my hand. Completely put me off topic. Anyway, G2 get the gold mine, Medic, and we're back on track.
Well, he's been alive longer than the hopes of Qlash in this game because they died a long time ago. 0-7-2 on Hell's Devon. Baron not working out for him anywhere near as well as it did for Hundo. And it shows you can't just pick the Baron. You have to know how to pilot the Baron. And Hundo is the king of piloting that particular hero. Now we have an Echo completed onto Keanu. He's been looking for those double from Hell's Hearts. been incredibly effective on this Krull roam position, something we don't commonly see. And now looking for the engage perhaps onto Agony, a good double impale. Look at the damage onto Agony, disowned in that front line as well. The Solar Storm comes out and Agony is running for the hills, trying to wheel his way away, but you cannot escape from G2. The party is joining you in your jungle. That's another kill for G2, 19 kills to 4 up. A Crystal Sentry will fall. He's going to be not quite eliminated, still 1 life remaining. Perhaps that's indicative of Qlash's position in this game. They're not quite down and out, but they are reeling from the punches that G2 keep landing.
I think we've really touched on the major points of this game, Medic. We talked about the fact that Hundor really is that Achilles heel of this composition from Qlash. I think we should really talk about what this means for G2 as a Vainglory team. The kind of style of this win and what is up for grabs for them in the next few weeks, because there is one EU world spot on the line, and G2 are the best poised to threaten SK for that top position. It will be tough, but G2 could actually take that position from SK and go to Worlds, and playing like this, they look incredible, Medic.
That they do. They're in such a strong spot, especially when Hundor gets ahead. He just looks absolutely devastating. A bit of inventiveness from them in the draft, taking the Krull into the roam position instead of playing him in that usual jungle role, and now they can continue just to push forward into the faces of Qlash. Of course, Qlash fighting to try and get away from the challenge battles. They want to be able to take a few wins here and there and force other teams below them so they don't have to fight at the end of the split. But at the moment, it's looking like this is not the week for them. G2 closing out the game slowly here, completing the kill on that Crystal Sentry if they can. Hundor just continues to get their Helios into the Supernovas across the wall, and they will continue just base into Hell's Devil. If the wall doesn't land onto Disowned, eventually the Sentry is eliminated. There's the Solar Storm, but it's not enough to kill Hell's Devil. The Impale doesn't connect either, but the Fountain is used from Qlash, and now G2 can push in with this minion wave and look to take down that final turret outside of the crystal turrets for Qlash. Great damage, and the From Hell's Heart landing. The boomerang is the final shot that was needed, and G2 continue to push forward. Solar Storm is almost back up, only 6 seconds left on that, 2 now because of the clockwork, but it's an ace in front of the base of Qlash, and G2 should be able to close out the game from here. 2 crystal turrets will fall basically simultaneously, and the Vayne Crystal will not be long for the Halcyon Fold. G2 with a 2-0 victory over Qlash.
That was just a deconstruction by G2 in that game, a pure masterclass on how to play a Celeste into a composition where she thrives. Dark Potato and Hundor, I can't count the amount of times that they so crisply set up Githium Wall Impale Core Collapse into Supernova combos. It happened numerous times in very awkward positions on the map as well. You can see that these are some of the best heroes that Dark Potato and Hundor can play, and it was, like I said, a symphony to watch them orchestrate some of these particular ganks. Qlash, they were outclassed in every way, shape and form, Medic. I don't think it was even close.
It was not at all. G2 with a dominant victory, and they'll go through to the games tomorrow. But that's it from us for now. We're going to hand it back across towards the analysts to break down that series and break down the day of EU.
Welcome back to the Analyst Desk. Ladies and gentlemen, off of 3 swift 2-0s here in Europe. It has been a very quick day for us, but it means that G2 are going to take a series for themselves and move on into our semi-finals tomorrow. And a very convincing series. Game number 2, a little more convincing than game number 1, but it did start off strong for Qlash.
Yeah, the very early game looked good. They got a couple of kills, but then it just sort of petered out, and there was nothing really left in the tank. It was like they blew everything that they had right off the bat and hoped that would snowball them a little bit further into the game, but they just weren't able to repeat that early level 1, level 2 success.
Yeah, I mean, and also we did see a lot more action because of that than what we have seen so far in Europe, and that's at least exciting.
Yeah, it is. We didn't see any Churnwalker though, boys.
No, not yet.
I'm very sad about that one. Let's take a look at the first couple of kills that came through in that game coming out. Starting with Agony, grabbing himself a double kill on the CP Petal.
Yeah, and it was just kind of interesting the way that they went about this. Like, G2 didn't have any way to fight back against them. It was Dark Potato going down so quickly once they decided to target him. Hundor went down extremely quickly. Just a really well-played initial invade from the side of... now you got me doing it now. It's drawing of like from Qlash. But it was just the initial invade was